on the same game, by the way.
Hey guys, Dynamis here, also known as Desicun. I've been going under. Yeah. You know, failed recording happens, but whatever. So yeah, I'm here with a deck profile on Royal Paladins. Really good deck right now to play, if you got the money for it, I guess, if you're building from scratch. Okay, so let's get into it. Alright, so starting Vanguard, Wingle Brave, sick card. So basically when this unit boosts a blaster and the unit attack hits, you push it into the soul and you search out any blaster and add it to your hand. It's pretty sick. Especially early game, feels good, man. Especially with all those new grade 1 blasters that we got. So I might be in the minority here, but I do tend to run more crits in my deck than what normal people do. I like to run 10, mainly because I feel like in this deck, like if you're gonna go aggro early game, you want to hit those crits as soon as possible, just to kill them faster. But flow goal is probably like the best trigger in the deck. Not only because it's a critical trigger, you know, crits are the best. Master Race. It's also a stand trigger, kind of, sort of, massive upgrade. But so essentially, when a blaster blade declares its attack, and after the battle, you can counterblast one, push this back into your deck, and then stand your blaster blade. So if you're going for the Thing Saver burst or something, apply all trigger effects to the blaster blade. And if you have the leftover counterblast, just go in with the flow goal and like swing in for like 29 or something twice with like additional crit or something, and your opponent's just like, alright, good game, I guess. Feels good, man. But other than flow goal, Belinus is pretty good too. Just because like it comes in handy in very clutch situations where I'm like, alright, I don't necessarily need this the hand advantage really. I just want more cards to my hand, and that's not Belinus, you know. So yeah, especially when I go into like Alt Mile or something, Belinus, pretty clutch. Soul Charge 1, build up that soul, +5 to my Vanguard, and draw a card. It's pretty good. Other than that, I just run the whatever two crits you really want to run. I like these two arts, so Epona and the Jewel Knight, really good art, 10 out of 10. So for the rest of my triggers, I run 2 draws, just because like if I really need Margol to push into Soul for the Thing Saver burst turn, or just to activate Thing Saver in general, it's always nice to have. Also drawing, pretty good early game, especially. And then the standard 4 heals. I wanted to run like 4 different arts, but I don't really like any of the other arts for Royal Paladins. So I just run like the 3 and then the extra Jewel Knight. So that's basically all the triggers. I'll come back to Flogo eventually, so I'll leave that on the side. Next card, which basically made the deck a billion times better, just because it gives us an unflipping engine, is Barkle. I run 4 just because of how important it is. Like, not only is it a blaster name, like, it unflips damage as long as you have a blaster Vanguard and you call a blaster blade in the same column as it. So essentially, has the Dorrance skill where you can even call over it and it will still activate. So if you have a column of Barkles, which is not a terrible play, but you know, probably not ideal, you can call a blaster blade on top of one of the Barkles and it'll trigger both of them to unflip 2. So it's insane when you like, oh, I don't have enough counterblast for a Thing Saver burst. Oh no, what will I ever do? Oh, I'll just unflip 2. It's pretty good. I'll come back to that card too, because these 2 cards are so good from the newest set. It's thank you, Bushiroad. Thank you. You guys are the best. 10 out of 10. It's not like you're putting out any broken cards or something. Don't worry about it. I'll praise them throughout the entire one, so it makes up for it. Next card I run is Lara, just because like it's a blaster name and it also has resist, so it has some like tech value to it. Like, I usually, if I ever call it out, it's usually behind the Vanguard. Just, I don't know, to swing for larger numbers or something. But I usually want to ride it first, which is why run 2 instead of just 1? Because there are different options for Lara instead of, yeah, just Lara's pretty alright, just because it has that blaster name. That's about it, though. After that, I do run 3 Siluses, just because, like, striding is actually pretty important in this deck. Like, it builds up all your plays, and yeah, good card. I mean, I like to first ride this too, especially if I'm going first or something, just so I don't waste like a Barkle or a Lara. But other than that, I also run 4 of the G perfect guards, where, you know, unflipping is pretty important, even though you have the Barkle engine to unflip. Like, honestly, sometimes it's not enough, so you wanna unflip more with your perfect guards. So yeah, always good to unflip. I don't know. I think the other perfect guards like Brave are not as great, even though, like, if you want to run the generic perfect guards just to guard your rear guards, I feel like Royal Paladins is like, oh, I get free rear guards anyways, so it doesn't really matter. Other than that, that's it for the grade 1 lineup. Next, the boss card that came out of the newest set, Lou. Oh man, definitely not broken. It's so fair.
Completely fair.
Yeah, I mean, there's no reason for it to get hit or anything. So, you know, so essentially what it does is when it's boosted by a Barkle or a Flogel, it gets plus 3,000. So it's always hitting a number basically. So 19 or 16 is always a good number to hit. And like, if you're boosted with a Barkle and you're like on turn 2 attacking, it's so good. It's just 19. It's almost a guaranteed hit just because they'll just let it through. So, like, this card's so insane because, like, even after the attack, as long as it, like, it doesn't matter what Vanguard you have, you can counterblast 1 and push it into the soul and call any blaster unit. I believe it's like grade 2, and you call it to rear guard, and you just basically almost always call out Blaster Blade, just so you call it in front of the Blaster friend Barkle and unflip damage. Or even if you have like the Flogel and you have the extra counterblast, you can just like restand the Blaster Blade because it gets plus 3 after it gets called out by Lou's effect. So, speaking of Blaster Blade, I run 4 just because of how good it is, and I run into it a lot, like as my first ride. Which is, it's a good thing that I do, like, because I always end up, like, having trouble, like, getting a Blaster Vanguard. Just kidding. I run too many blasters. But I like to run all 4 arts. It has bitten me in the ass a couple times when I run the vanilla art, though, because it's like, oh, I want to retire something, but I can't, so that kind of sucks. Other than that, yeah, sick card, you know. It's not like it went up in price or anything. Gosh, we need some reprints, guys.
Explain to them what it does.
So yeah, alright, I guess I should explain what Blaster Blade does. Not, you know, it's not like it's a main character card from Season 1 or something that probably everybody's seen. But, so ride it on Vanguard, Counterblast 2, retire anything, call it to Rearguard, Counterblast 2, retire grade 2 or greater, you know, the usual. One day we'll be able to hit the back row. One day.
Leave it to Shadow Fountain.
Yeah, we can't get that joke anymore. It's not natural. It doesn't flow. So, leave it to Shadow Paladins to hit the back row. I run the 1 Blaster Dark. I run the 1 Blaster Dark because I do run MLB in the deck. So, if I can go in for the dream play where it's like, oh, 2 to pass on the MLB, I'm like, alright, cool, crit, all on the Vanguard. And it's like, I'll take 4 damage, please. Good game? Question mark. And then it's. I mean, sometimes I do like to ride it just to spite my opponents, like starting Vanguard or something. They crit me. And I'm like, all right, ride Blaster Dark, Counterblast 2, retire everything. Probably not the best play, but it is funny when it happens. I also run 2 Twin Swords for more attack extension. just because like I can also call out lose with this card and like just keep attacking over and over. Like it's just so ridiculous with how much like attack extension Royal Paladin has now. Like it's basically what are they called? Aqua Force, I think. Yeah, whatever those guys are. Nobody talks about those guys anymore. No offense. Offense. What? Alright. Sorry, I'm hearing things. So, next card I run in my grade 2 lineup is 3 Blaster Blade Seekers. I think 3 is a pretty good number, just because, like, I always, like, have one either in the drop zone or something so I can re-legion it back, or, like, if I have to ride one and then one's in damage, I'm like, alright, I still got the one. Usually never not have a Blaster Blade Seeker in the deck, because, like, you know, you're bad if you don't have it in the deck. Nah. But yeah, 3 is a pretty good number, I think. I've seen people to run 4, but I don't think that's absolutely necessary with how much 2s you run in the deck already. And I've seen people cut it down to 2, but I've seen it like bite them in the ass. Like they have one in damage and they had to ride one earlier and they can't soul blast it out. But yeah, I think 3 is a fantastic number. Also, you get to use all 3 arts. You know, feels good.
And you have to run all 3 arts?
Yeah, you know, you're bad if you don't run all 3 arts. Let's just say that.
Don't be bad, people.
Yeah, don't be bad. That's the motto of all in the Vanguard, except for all in the Vanguard. So going into the 3 lineup, I know it seems like a lot of 2s, 1s, and 0s. Well, obviously 0s, but I do run in total 6 grade 3s. That might sound a little crazy, but the fact that I can search out alt miles and stuff, like with Silas, I do run the 1 alt mile. I mean, I obviously have to have a grade 3 in hand, but like it's always an option. I always end up having the grade 3. Rarely do I like not have it because like it's just honestly sometimes you just want to stay on 2 just so that your opponent can't do anything. I know that sounds a little cheesy, but you do what you gotta do to win, let's just say that. So, yeah, alt mile, great card, 10 out of 10, counterblast 1, call out units when you stride on top of it, and give it +5, give 2 units to +5, good card, especially early game, if you don't have, like, any other grade 3 options. But yeah, I do recommend playing it, just because I find myself in situations where it's like, oh, I don't really want to go into Thing Saver or MLB right now, but alt mile is probably the best choice.
Also search about their statuses.
Oh yeah.
Stuff like that.
Yep. So I run the 1 MLB, Magic Solar Blaster, whatever you want to call it, because I do run the 1 Blaster Dark. Honestly, I've been thinking about cutting MLB and Blaster Dark for more 2s or like something better. You know, Sengard or something. That card's alright. Yeah, I like it just because it's a fan favorite, honestly. If I can go in for the play, I'll 98% of the time will go into it just to relive that nostalgia. Fun card. Helps you build soul too sometimes, so it's not necessarily always a silly play, but it's sometimes a good one too if you want to kill them the next turn afterwards. Next card, arguably the best card in Royal Paladins, but you know Lou would like to say something about that, is Thing Saver Dragon. It's just so good. I'm so glad we have a restanding Vanguard in Royal Paladins. Man, it's just so good. You know, the burst turn is so ridiculous, 22 3 times. Doesn't hit like damage triggers or anything. It's like, alright, good game? Question mark. Burn through their resources. They can't do any more plays. Feels good, man. And especially like with Flogel now, if you have like so much open counterblast, just be like, oh, all effects to the Blaster Blade, all effects to the Blaster Blade. Alright, my Blaster Blade swinging for like 29 on its own. And then you just activate Flogel. Oh, 29 again. Alright. Good game? No? Alright, cool. That sucks. But other than that, for strides, I do run 1 Transcending the Heavens alt mile, because like I do run the 1 alt mile, and it does come in handy whenever like when we're going into a really late game and I can't kill them, and I just like, oh, I have like 4 Aerial Divine Knight Altmal. Oh, like plus 1,000,000 to my front row.
Yeah?
Can you guard this? Question mark. And then
Oh.
yeah, the 4 Divine. Aerial Divine Knight Altmals. Good card. Too bad it's so expensive now. I overpaid for a few of them. Should have bought them earlier. But sick card. Call out any grade 2. Give it +5. And then +3 to the front row. You know, just call out a Lou with a Barkle behind it, swinging in for like 27 by itself. It's pretty sick. Other than that, I do run the 1 Madu, because you can ride this over Legion, and like it'll still get your effect out. Or you can go over MLB and then just be all like, alright, I discarded the Thing Saver, get it back, you know, no minus, pretty much.
Oh, that's cool, bro.
Good card, good card. And then my first strides, I do like to run Godblade, and I do like to run Giron. I like the option because like I could, if I have the hand to support the field, it's like, oh, Giron, swing for massive columns early game. Probably not gonna card them. More than like 2 to 3 damage guaranteed. Unless they're super stingy about damage, and those players are bad. Hate them. But yeah, great card. Yeah, Sean. And then there's the Godblade. Great card. You know, if they let it hit, especially if they don't have the guard, go into it. Just get your free Lou or something, and they attack extend all day, every day. They'll more than likely not let this hit, but when they do, they'll regret it. Okay, so since we're transitioning into 16G zone format, I'd like to like add in my input for the 16G zone. So I do like to run Soul Saver in my G zone. I only have 2. I would preferably like to play 4, but due to the fact that this card's price went up
I know, right?
dramatically after like all this support, I can't really afford it anymore, which kind of sucks. But I think 2's honestly enough, because I rarely go into it, but it's really handy to go into it if you can. Just because it gets that additional crit, gives power to your rear guards instead of just your vanguard, unlike some cards, you know, Saint Blow, where it just gives all, where it's super greedy with all the power, and it's like, I get a crit, but you know, just perfect guard me and you're all good. Feels bad. But yeah, I do run the 2 Saint Blows as well, just because like, yo, you do?
I have one more, Soul Saver.
Dude, I can just buy one
Yeah,
now. Sweet.
I have
So
one
yeah,
more
if you can
card.
get the 4, just run the 4, dude. Screw this card. Nah, actually, honestly, I'm thinking about keeping Saint Blow just because of how like free it is. Like if your opponent doesn't have the guard, like they'll just be like, all right, I guess I'll be taking an extra crit. Dang it. And then I run the 1 Samuel, just for that like really ridiculous play where I can just like be like, oh, I have full field, Samuel. Take your damage guaranteed, and like you're probably gonna want to guard everything. Yeah, it just eats through their hand. Good times. And then now with all the attack extensions, all like, oh, you're at high damage. All right, cool. Samuel, attack extend all day. And then for now I have proxies, but eventually these are gonna be G Guardians. I don't know how I feel about G Guardians right now. I do think that they're good enough to play at least 2 of, but there's a lot of people online saying that, oh, they're so good, you need to run like 12. Well, not really 12. That's exaggerating it a little bit, but they're all like, oh, I'm gonna run like 5, I'm gonna run 6. Oh, it's so good. I mean, they got good points, but I feel like in Royal Paladins, like I don't think they're like too
If
necessary.
you're a very well supported clan, don't run like 4 or 6.
Yeah, so
It's too much. But if you're like an unsupported clan, run like 4.
yeah.
At least, because there's a lot of new Cray Elemental ones that are nice.
I'm probably gonna like run 2, like after when that set releases, but I just wanted to play test with 3, just see how I felt, because there is that new Cray Elemental where when your opponent doesn't ride, you know, you get a stride anyways. That's good and all, but I feel like in Royal Paladins, especially this build, you really don't want to ride to 3 unless you're really ready. So it's kind of feels good when you don't want to ride to 3 and it's like your opponent can't do really anything. So that's my Royal Paladin deck. Hope you guys liked it. So just let us know. Let me know if you have any like input into it, or you want me to explain anything further. But
That doesn't sound.
that's my deck.